Guys, how's it going? It's Al. DraftKings week 11 is here, and I have 5 players under 5 that you might want to play. I know the title says must play, but like you might want to play them because like some of them are really ugly this week. So it's more of a suggestion than a requirement. But like I needed 5 players that were under 5%, but week 11, as you've heard all week long, is extremely ugly. And the pricing is very tight, making it very hard to get some of these players in. You're giving up an awful lot of points on optimal this week. I think that there are a lot of plays that are off the reservation that exist between like, let's say 6 and 13%, but I'm not allowed to use them for this video. But here are the 5 players that are under 5 that I think have an opportunity based on game situation, matchup, stacking possibility, or whatever else to give you a leg up over the competition in tournaments. Thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League is up for week 11. If you have not gotten in there, get in it fast. $10 to enter. You got to go to the smizzle.tv/links linktree. That's where you'll find it. Absolutely no rake in this tournament. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. $10 to enter, 3 max. Absolutely no rake. All the $40,000 that come in get paid right back out, and I will shout out all of the winners on the Fantasy Football channel. The top 10 right here. Here's the week 10 recap. Here's the week 9 recap. We go through all the 10 winners and shout them out on the recap video every Monday. So go to the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel, also available in that link tree, as well as everything else that I do. So in case Twitter explodes, you can find me on other platforms. It won't though. Cordarrelle Patterson is the first guy. I'm shocked that he is projected right now on 3 different sites under 5, roughly between 2 and 2.5%. I know he's coming off a bad game. This is the best matchup we're going to get. Like, Chicago is a terrible defensive team. Atlanta has a team total that is 3rd highest on the slate at 26.5 this weekend. The Falcons do want to run the ball. The Falcons are playing at home. In case they utilize their running backs in the passing game, Cordarrelle Patterson is the most talented and adept at that. He also is great at making touchdowns happen. And Chicago's defense has been one that we've wanted to stream running backs against all season long, but so many other things have popped up on this slate, like on the other side of this game with David Montgomery becoming more of a chalky play. People have moved away from the very obvious just play Cordarrelle at 6,200 on the other side, and now he's popping as a very good value opposite. You can use him as part of a weird secondary stack because it's going to be a break the rules sort of a week on DraftKings. If you wanted to break the rules by going with like a Justin Fields quarterback completely naked, but use Cordarrelle Patterson as the bring back play on the other side and use that QB running back as a secondary stack around other correlation in your lineup, just one player from one team and one player from the other, that will get you a little bit differentiated from the field if that's the way that you want to go. But I want to target players in offensive rich environments and teams that have high totals. And then I have to talk about Najee Harris playing with Pittsburgh, game that has a total of 40 points. I told you this week sucks. He's only 5,500. Like on a week where we're starved for value, and we are starved for value. Like if most people are going to pay down at wide receiver, which is going to allow them to pay up at running back. So a simple way to get different is to look for a couple of super cheap running backs that are sub 6K. There aren't that many, and there definitely aren't that many that get the projectable volume that Najee Harris gets. Now, I know it has not translated into anything. He's got a season high of like 14.1 DraftKings points way back in week 3 against Cleveland. You know, Cleveland, the team that we want to stream running backs against like all the time. Harris does get Cincinnati this week. He's going to project at 3.3% owned. Who's to say that he cannot turn 15 to 22 carries into 100 yards? Who's to say that he can't get 4+ targets in this game? And who's to say that he can't wander into the end zone, whether via the pass or via the run, giving him a possibility of a season high 20+ points at 5.5K to allow you to pay up for a wide receiver that you may not otherwise been able to pay up for. It's ugly. I know. I get it. The whole slate is ugly. Everything sucks. I hate it here. AJ Brown doesn't suck though. He's 8K. Again, like I said, paying up for wide receiver is going to be difficult. I think that people are going to want to go for CeeDee Lamb. I think that people are going to want to get to like 7,200 to get to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who both project very well. I think you're going to have to look for extreme value at wide receiver, guys like Skoranek, guys like Paris Campbell, which means that paying up to be contrarian is a good idea. And we already know that he can be the breaker of slates, as he did back in week 8 with 3 touchdowns, 42.6 points. Philadelphia has one of the highest team totals on this slate. Do I have their team total written down? I don't. Their total is 45.5. They're favored by 9. So like 4.5 plus 23. It's like 27 points essentially, because I left a hook in there. It's a lot of points. They're not all going to come via the run. They don't really score that many touchdowns on the ground with their running backs. And it's a possibility that A.J. Brown does kind of roast and toast this Indianapolis team. We have good weather because it's in a dome, something that it's that sort of a season, right? As we approach Thanksgiving, the weather outside can be frightful, and finding players in a dome sometimes leads to very delightful GPP scores. So if you want to pay up to be contrarian with A.J. Brown, I'm all for it. Finding the salary to get there is going to make it very ugly. Playing it through Jalen Hurts stack will definitely differentiate you. Conair, thank you for the 15 months, and we'll give you a way to get completely different from the crowd. Chris Olave is another way to get there. Like I said, players in high totaled games like this Rams game against the Saints, where the total is 39.5. Olave is still one of the leaders in the league, and the league leader on this particular main slate in terms of air yards on the season. I would prefer it if Jameis Winston was starting, but they won't let him. He has not scored a touchdown in 5 weeks. The percentage is going to be extremely low, projecting at about 2.8% in this game. We've seen big games from him before, and there's nothing to project that he won't or is impossible for him to have that. There's a non-0% chance, and I would argue that there's over a 2.8% chance of him having 20 plus DraftKings points in this game. So if everybody is flocking to the Rams, whether it's Higbee or Skoranek, to find value on this slate, going with somebody like Chris Olave to correlate with them as a secondary stack lends us to a very easy correlated secondary play for tournament lineups. And though we don't look that this game does not look like it's going to end up being a massive shootout, if we get 1 touchdown, 100 yards receiving, which is entirely possible against a very struggling Rams defense with all the great parts that they have. They've not played very well the last few weeks. Olave is a good under 5 play. And finally, talked about Justin Fields earlier. A lot of people going to Komet, but 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games for Komet means that he is a big shiny object who, without those touchdowns, is averaging like 10 fantasy points a game. If one of those touchdowns goes to Darnell Mooney this week to correlate through Fields, we have seen him get loose deep, 22-yard, 36-yard, 26-yard reception. And as good as Fields is, you're going to see more safeties and or linebackers being used as spies. Atlanta does play a lot of man-to-man defense, and man-to-man defense does have the ability to give up more deep passes than playing against zones that disallow that sort of a thing. And Atlanta has allowed more red zone trips than any other team this season, have not been efficient at stopping trips to the red zone either. So Darnell Mooney's touchdown expectation is heightened for this week, giving us another guy who could get us a 20-point day, even though he's only averaging 8.9 on the season. 5 under 5 is ugly this week. It's just an ugly slate. Sometimes there's nothing we can do about it. I wish you guys the best this week, and we'll see you next week for all the Thanksgiving footage. I'll see you Sunday morning on the Anti-Tinkercast on Twitch. Go through the link tree and find that link, and I'll see you 45 minutes before kickoff so we can talk about everything going into week 11. Thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.